This is a short video how to troubleshoot vLLM errors, like GPU out of memory errors, as you're trying to deploy DeepSeek R1 8B model on a single L4 GPU. We start by trying out not setting any arguments, and we'll see that that doesn't work. You'll get out of memory errors. And as we go through this exercise, you will get better at being able to understand various error messages and being able to figure out how to solve them yourself by setting different vLLM flags. Let's first try deploying the model with just the absolutely most basic parameters we can think of. And we're going to deploy the DeepSeek R1, but the 8B distill version. And then we remove all the arguments, all the environment variables. So we just use whatever is the default parameters that are set. And we're going to see what will happen when we try this. And I think it might not work. Let's wait for the pod to start up and let's see what kind of issues we get. It looks like it's running. It's trying to start up with the 0.7.2 version. And these are the default parameters that got set. I think it's going to use the maximum context length or model length by default. These are the default values that were set. We just got to figure out where in here. Oh, when it's set to none, so we don't know what it's going to use. So I think it's going to use whatever is defined in the Hugging Face model for this. It is loading the model, and then we can see the first error we see is that, well, when we use the default argument, it's going to try the default sequence length, which is the 131,000 sequence length. And that's going to be too much. That's why we're getting if you scroll up, you can see that it wouldn't be able to fit that much. What's helpful is that we do see that the vLLM tells us what is the sequence length that it would be able to fit with the default arguments. So that's helpful. It gives you two ideas. It tells you first, try decreasing the GPU memory utilization, which we can do because I think the default, if we look up, the default was only set to, what is it, 0.9, I think I saw. I might have to go further up. Yeah. Here, GPU memory utilization is set to 0.9. So that means that we can maybe increase that to 0.95. And then we don't have to decrease the context length as much. So let's try that. We go here. And now we are going to tweak with the arguments. The first argument we're going to try is, not that one. We want to try with just increasing this and then seeing how big can we keep the context length. Because using a bigger context length is important so you can send longer prompts, but it's also important for having bigger, improving the aggregate throughput when you have higher concurrency, because you can then increase the maximum batch tokens. Right, let's try this first, and then after we try this, we're gonna look at the error message and see if this value increases from 29,000 to a bigger value, because we're telling vLLM that it can use more memory. So just reapply the manifest, and we're using CubeAI for deploying the model. That's why these manifests work. And CubeAI is a way that you can easily run vLLM in production, have auto scaling, and etc. all built in. So let's take a look at the logs again. And it's still gonna have an out of memory error, but this time I expect the error message to be slightly different. So the hope is that this time we should see a slightly bigger context length that we can use. So you see this number before was 29,000. And because we said vLLM, you can actually use more GPU memory. We can now store a bigger context length because we did say that. So let's do that. Let's try using this, and then hopefully the model should start being able to run after we change that. So now we're going to we're going to set the context length to a static variable, to whatever vLLM told us in the error message is what is the maximum possible based on the current configuration. So let's try this again, and hopefully this time the model will start running. All right, and as we can see, the model is actually running now. And I also started a Open Web UI port forward already, so we can talk to the model and test it out. Show me a code snippet of a website sticky. And look, it is working. And we should also see the requests coming in. So the first step is always get something working. Next, we're going to figure out which parameters can help us improve the performance of this model.